Okay, so today is probably the video a lot of you Oiler fans have been waiting for. Got my friend Tristan here, and he's made himself right at home. I told him to get comfortable. Gave the guy an inch, he took a mile. A red mile, it would seem.
Anyway, if I can just add, Ryan, I think this is probably the nicest your set's ever looked. If I could just say that.
Anyway, where's your draft lottery beard?
What lottery beard?
We're all growing draft lottery beards.
When did you say that?
I said it in my opening video.
Well, you said you were growing
Well, I
one.
assume we're all growing them.
Rye, you know what happens when you assume?
Okay, how about this? Tell me who wore it better. Kyle, Sens fan. Niles, Habs fan. Tom, Jets fan. Or myself looking real sharp here in my Oilers gear.
I'm going to have to go Kyle, dude. I'm going to have to go Kyle. That is like a Joe Thornton-esque beard right there. Like that is coming in really nice.
Yep, thick and manly.
That's great. I wish I could do that.
Okay, so now that we've talked beards, let's get right into it. Why don't you tell me, when did you make the very questionable decision to become a Calgary Flames fan?
Well, I made that excellent decision when I was probably about 10, 11, mid-90s is when it was. They had this thing, I grew up in Calgary, and they had a kids program where the Flames, to encourage kids to read, would give you a bookmark for every 100 minutes that you logged of reading. They'd give you a bookmark, and you wanted to collect them all, and that's kind of where it fueled. And then I started going to games with my dad and my brother and everything in Calgary. And over the years, every time I go traveling anywhere, I always bring one or two different Flames shirts that you can represent the Flames all over the world. It's pretty cool.
That's great, but you know what? This is actually my favorite photo of you. I know you got all those nice ones of you around the world, but then I just think that accurately represents your true self. So I asked the other guests that I've had on what their best memory was of their team. I'm going to go ahead and ask you, what's your worst memory of your team? Tell me about a little thing you like to call the great ref mistake of '04.
Well, my worst memory of the Flames is, it begins with the great ref mistake of '04 in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final against Tampa Bay. And Martin Gélina, the Eliminator, was at it again. Looked like he had buried it. Refs didn't see it that way. They went upstairs. For some reason, there was a conspiracy. They overturned it. Didn't happen. And we went on to Game 7, ended up stinking it up and getting beat and getting to watch Dave Anderchuk hoist the cup. And that was crushing.
I bet it was. But in all fairness, tell me your best memory of being a Flames.
I mean, the best memory is also the same run, but it is being on the Red Mile, growing up in Calgary, being there, and the whole city just turned into one crazy party, 17th Ave, everyone partying out, filling out into that. I went to 5 games in that whole playoff run, 2 against Vancouver, 2 against Detroit, and 1 against San Jose. And then spilling out back into the Red Mile was just awesome. I mean, the whole city, it's a great experience.
That's awesome. And you know, it's unfortunate Gélina didn't get his cup in Calgary, but he got one in Edmonton, so he's all right. Anyway, let's talk about your all-time favorite Flame. Lots of guys to choose from. 2-time Art Ross Trophy winner, Hart Trophy winner, and Stanley Cup winner Marty St. Louis. Conn Smythe and Stanley Cup winner J.S. Giguère, and 2-time Stanley Cup winner Corey Stillman. Of course, all these guys had success once they got out of Calgary. But who's your all-time favorite Flame?
Again, because I grew up, through the '90s. There, I have to go with Jarome Iginla. I mean, what a great captain to have. I mean, leading up through those playoffs when he fought LeCavalier was awesome. I mean, the guy scored the most goals in the league twice. He's outstanding, and a guy off the ice too. Outstanding character. I got the chance to meet him in '04, and I mean, he's just all smiles even though he's busy. He's making sure he signs everybody's stuff, and just an all-around great guy.
Where's he from?
Edmonton.
Oh,
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks again.
Okay, so yeah, you can't go wrong with Jarome Iginla. That's a great choice. Surefire Hall of Famer in my books, anyone's books, I guess. Now the thing is, I know we've been exchanging barbs here and whatnot, but I just wanted to quickly give my perspective on the rivalry between the Oilers and the Flames. I've been watching hockey for 19 full seasons. Calgary has missed the playoffs in 13 of those. The only teams that have missed more are Carolina, Columbus, and Florida. So I don't really have much animosity for the Flames because That's where I feel real rivalries and real hatred is built. And I'll use this as an example. In 1997, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, and 03, the Oilers played the Stars. I hated them. Hated Modano, Hatcher, Matvechuk. Didn't mind Joe Nieuwendyk. Hated Ed Belfour. All those guys. Now, I couldn't care less about the Stars. I don't care who wins the Minnesota-Dallas series. It doesn't even matter to me. So, why would it matter to me whether the Flames have success when they haven't played the Oilers in the playoffs since 1991? And further to that, and I'm not saying this to trash Calgary or to put Edmonton down, I'm just stating the facts. They've only made the playoffs, both teams in the same season, once in the last 25 years, in 2006. The Oilers missed for a handful of seasons. Flames missed for 8 years. They both made it. Then the Oilers have missed for 10. So I say all that just to say I really don't have any animosity for Calgary. This is all just fun and games. And I actually want to get down to some meaningful hockey talk, get Tristan's opinion. He loves his team. He knows his team really well. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into that. So why don't you tell me, since I didn't see the Flames play much this year, I have no idea, why did they drop, I think it was 20 points in the standings and miss the playoffs this year?
Well, I think they got off to a tough start. I think they went 2-8 in the first 10. Brody was out for the first several games. Giordano was not healthy from his off-season surgery. Dougie Hamilton never really found a way to fit in until about mid-season. He was kind of struggling to get the game down. And then that leads to the biggest problem is our goaltending. I mean, we did not have good goaltending starting the year as well. 3 goaltenders were in the rotation, not knowing who's playing. It was a tough start. I think in the end of the year, I think Hiller had the worst save percentage in the NHL for sure, and it was the worst save percentage in the league in 25 years. I think I read that the other day. Like it was horrible.
I guess that's why he headed overseas.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't getting a job again with the Flames, or in the NHL for that matter. So it was really bad. So goaltending was bad, and the D really struggled off the bat and never kind of came together.
Well, okay, let me ask you this. Was the goaltending, did the goaltending overachieve last year? Or, because it's almost the same goaltending. Did they overachieve last year or did they just fall apart this year?
I think the whole team overachieved last year and the whole team underachieved this year. I think they would be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
If you add both seasons. I don't think they're as bad as this year and I don't think they're as good as last year.
Yuri Hudler led the NHL in even strength scoring last year. And that was the biggest thing that stuck out to me when last year ended. I thought, well, that's not happening again. I can't believe that actually did happen. But what kind of season did he have? Because I know they dealt him off to Florida at the deadline or just before the deadline.
Yeah.
What kind of year, was he a big part of why they?
It was bad, yeah. He was really bad. I mean, he was getting all the top line minutes. I mean, he plays with Monahan and Gaudreau, who are both really highly skilled, and he just couldn't get it going this year. He was almost invisible for like the first 4 months. He did pick it up, for like the month before he was traded and ended up getting us 2 picks. So it's not a bad return for a guy who, was not even really part of our lineup. I mean, he didn't really do much at all. So it's not bad to get 2 picks out of it.
Yeah, and would you say that he helped mentor Gaudreau and Monahan, and that's why they had career years this year, even though Hudler took a step back?
Yeah, I definitely think that he helped them last year and brought them together. But, I think those kids are just that good. I think they're very good. They're going to be a part of this team, I would imagine, for a long time. They both have to get deals this offseason, but I don't see why that they wouldn't have it done. Both of them say they want to be there, and I think they're going to be a big part of it. They're just that good. I mean, Gaudreau is incredibly skilled, and we haven't had a player like that in a long time. He's incredibly skilled. Yeah,
and actually, this is something I wanted to talk to you about. I'm going to offer my opinion here. You can tell me if I'm wrong or if you agree or whatever. In my opinion, the guy on that team that you build around isn't Gaudreau, it's not Monahan, and it's not even Brody. It's Bennett. Because I see so much of Doug Gilmour in that guy for obvious reasons. And I just remember when Gilmour was in his prime, I mean, Cherry said he was the best player in hockey in the mid-'90s, and he might not have been far off. And guys like Gretzky and Lemieux were playing. I just think that's a guy that he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's got the skill, maybe not as skilled as a guy like Gaudreau, but he wears his heart on his sleeve. He'll go in the corners even though he's not the biggest guy. He goes to the front of the net even though he's not the biggest guy. And that's when Giordano, when his deal's done in 4 or 5 years or whatever it is, that's the guy I think that gets the C. Am I wrong in saying that, or do you feel
I
it's
think
different?
no, I think it certainly could be. I think it's between him and probably Monahan for the captain. But Bennett is great. He plays with that edge that you were saying, and that's really awesome because he's different than those other two guys in that regard. Like he definitely plays that different game, and so he's great. But I mean, also there's a lot of D to build around. I mean, TJ Brody is outstanding. He really is up there with Giordano in terms of play. I mean, they both feed off each other, and now Brody's kind of been playing with Hamilton, but he's another great piece. I mean, I like the kids that they added at the end of the season, that Nakladal and Jyrki Jokipaka. Those are great times.
I honestly don't even really know who that is. I know
They
what
got
his
him
name
in the
is, but I haven't
Dallas
seen him,
deal.
I haven't seen him play,
They got him
so
in
I
the
don't
Dallas
know.
deal from Russell. Like they sent
Yeah.
Russell out, and they got this Jyrki Jokipaka, and he played in the end, and
Yeah.
he was a lot of fun to watch. Like, and I think that if they have him for a while, I think there's some good youth on the D line there to build around.
That's good. I couldn't stand Chris Russell. And actually, my wife, who's not even that into hockey, hated him. Every time we would see the Flames play, she'd be like, all that guy does is lay down. He just lays down on the ice all the time. Like, he doesn't even play the game.
I mean, it's effective.
So-
like last year,
no,
he
I
had like
know.
the most blocked shots. I mean, we'll take that, especially when our goaltending's suspect. But
Should just lay down on the goal line, I guess. But so then let me ask you this. Regardless of what happens with the draft lottery, who they pick up in free agency, do you think they will make the playoffs next year?
I mean, I sure hope so. I mean, I think if they keep progressing, I mean, it's all going to rely on who they get in goal. I mean, there's not one goaltender I think that they know they're bringing back. Like so far, Hiller's already gone. Ramo is questionable. Ordio is questionable. Backstrom's obviously not coming back. So that whole position is wide open. And Treliving has already said that that's kind of the main focus of the offseason. That's the top priority. So, I mean, goaltending gets you there, right? I mean, you see what happened to Montreal without Carey Price, or I mean, even not that the Capitals aren't a good team, but I mean, Holtby was incredible this year. I mean, so if you can get a great goaltender, then I mean, we should be there. But I mean, we were last year with the same team, and if they only keep getting older and progressing, I mean, we should have a shot, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to shift our attention to the draft lottery now. Before we do that, one more quick question. In your opinion, which team has the best chance of breaking Canada's cup drought?
I mean, in the near term, I think it's Montreal. I still think they have a chance. I mean, if you have Carey Price, he showed he's just that good. I mean, even in the first month of this season, I mean, he was outstanding before his injury, and then they totally tanked. But I don't think they're that far. I mean, obviously they have some issues in that room if they ended up the way they did. But I think with Carey Price, I think they certainly have a chance to make the playoffs and get in and have a good run. So in the near future, I'd say them.
What about long term?
Well, long term, I mean, you'd think that a team that had the first overall pick 4 times in 6 years would do it. But I'm going to hope the Flames have a chance there. And also, Winnipeg. I think they got some good kids, and I mean, that'd be fun for them too.
Mm-hmm. No, and actually those three, same with me. I feel Winnipeg has best prospects coming up. The Oilers simply because of McDavid.
I mean, the guy's amazing.
And then Montreal because of Price. All right, so here we go. I want your top 3 for the lotto and your worst case scenario for the lotto.
I mean, I guess my best case is Calgary at 1.
Yeah.
And then I would say Winnipeg. I would want Winnipeg to take 2. And then my third would be Montreal as well, just to round it out. To have a Canadian sweep with Calgary at the 1 is perfect.
Top 6 picks would be Canadian if that's the case. You'd bump Toronto, Edmonton, Vancouver to 4, 5, 6.
Great.
Yeah.
Best case right there, I think.
For some. Okay, worst case scenario.
I mean, worst case scenario has to be the Oilers. It has to, just for the simple fact that it's been 4 times in 6 years. It just can't. And I do want to see us both be good, but it just can't happen for the game, I hope. And I'll throw Vancouver in there. I don't want Vancouver in the top 3 either. And hopefully it's not an American sweep.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, you can go ahead and do the honors. I don't know if you have any.
Okay.
You're gonna rub your hands.
Here we
together.
go. Here we
Do
go.
you have
All
any
right.
special
Drum
effects?
roll. Should we do the drum roll here? Drum roll. And the winner is the Leafs.
Yo.
All right. Well, Canadian team, I guess. There you go. Not too bad there. Okay, let's see. Number 2. Shall we go?
Yeah, my heart's pounding.
New Jersey. Okay. All right. Bwah,
Yeah,
bwah.
no kidding, I
There.
said
Okay.
Columbus was born.
Here we go. And rounding it out at the 3 spot.
Oh, we've got a delay.
Is a dud.
Wi-Fi.
Is a dud.
Who's
Dud.
the mystery?
Well, that didn't work. Okay, here we go. Drum roll. Yeah. Get it over with. Columbus. The Oilers. Worst case again. Here we go. And I'm glad I'm not pushing the button on the draft day there, the lottery day.
Interesting.
Wow.
Wow, a lot of technical difficulties there.
But we're still at 5 there.
Yeah, no, and that's a good spot. I haven't really looked at the rankings. I know the top 4. Beyond that, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea who Calgary would be looking at that spot? Have you looked at the rankings? No?
I don't know who would be now. I mean, at 5, you're going to get a good pick.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
build for the future.
That's right. Oilers been doing it since 06. Okay.
That's true.
Well, thanks for being on. This was a lot of fun.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ryan.
Awesome. So stay tuned. Next week, I'll be talking to my friend Jeremy about the Vancouver Canucks. See you then.